Good morning, everybody. Come on in. I am talking about Oncidiums today. They're new to me, and a month ago, let's see if I can get this in order, but 1 month ago, I got this Oncidium. It was no name. Rosemary had brought from Kamloops, and it was bought at Safeway. And it was in bark, which was nice. And I repotted it in this vase, and it seems to be doing really good. It was just a month ago, and I actually see a tiny little new growth coming here. And I just want to show. So this one was a month ago. I think I called it Dancing Lady, but it wasn't quite like Dancing Lady. And the flowers were just beautiful. And I think I got a crush on Oncidiums from this one because every time I looked in the window with light behind and the little flowers, they looked like they were dancing. So anyway, so I got this one a month ago. And these two I got 3 months ago. Rosemary also brought from Kamloops when she came over. And they were in moss. And it was at a time when I was extremely busy, and I quickly potted them in all that I had. And they have tiny root systems compared to the Phalaenopsis, very small and white. And I like that I can see because there's varying comments. When you get a new orchid, you're out there and you're reading everything. And you read, well, they don't really like to dry out. And then you read one, oh yeah, just before they dry out, water them. And others, well, they like to be a little bit moist, like it. So I'm thinking that the little one, it has lots of space around it. Oh, this one was Oncidium Gerac Fragrance Chocolate. So it has, I'm going to leave it in here. A lot of them say they like to be underpotted, but then they will stay small, where this one is actually squished in this pot. And I like the big leaves, and I like everything looking big and rather small. So I'm going to put this one in a bigger pot. This one I'm going to leave in this pot because it has a lot of room around it. And as this one, these two were 3 months ago, it has nice little shoots, and I will show you a close-up later. And the big one, it has quite a few shoots, so it's doing well. And apparently, they don't like the roots disturbed too much. So when I potted both of these, they came in moss, and I didn't want to pick too hard at really close to the plant like I would in my fells, and I would have took all that moss out. But I didn't because I just didn't want to disturb it that much, and they seem to be okay with that. I got it all from down below, and normally my pots dry out fastest on the top. So I think that's why they're both doing pretty good. But this one has very little growing room in the top. So this is the one I want to see how they're doing. And I'm going to put this in the pot from the one that I threw out, the Phalaenopsis, just in the last video. And it's been washed really good. It has a hole in the bottom. It has probably it has about 8 holes in the side. So, and in the last video, probably halfway, I did show the sheet with the drill bits that you can get on Amazon for drilling these vases. So We picked them all up at the thrift store for $2 to $5. They're not very much. Even the crystal ones aren't very much. This one was crystal, a little thinner. And the reason I'm going to put this bigger Oncidium in this pot is it's a little bit bigger on the fan shape of the top. Well, quite a bit bigger. So this area, it can spread out. But the area near the neck of this vase is very similar in size to this. In fact, it just fits in there with a slight bit of room. So that's looking good. But the main difference is the bottom here. And I found, because it's a little harder to water, because when I water, I have to spray water in these holes at the kitchen sink to make sure this area gets down. But it does have good drainage. So it's a little thicker down here, so I think that extra humidity will help it in the summer, because here in the summer I have to worry about drying them out too much, because the phals, they can take a little bit of drying out, and they quite often do. But apparently that's not how it is with these. So what I'm going to do is in the bottom, I am liking my wine corks. I can pick them up for $2 for a bag like this. Secondhand. These ones were new ones, but they were still $2. And I like them to stop my very small bark that's supposed to be medium bark from actually going through the holes and plugging up the holes. So I'm just going to put some of these kind of on the outside to begin with, where there's a kind of a ledge. There. And I have found that when I've gone to check some of them with the cork in, they stay quite humid. I was surprised. I thought they'd be so compact that the cork itself wouldn't absorb much water. But I have actually found, after I've been using them for longer now, that they do hold some humidity. So we're putting them on the bottom. And I'm just going to put this out the way for a minute. And I don't want to be hitting anything off with my big elbows. Okay. Oh, before I forget, I have this little dendrobium I got back when I got these, and 3 months ago. And it was in full flower and on these stems, and it decided to give me 2 new flowers. And there's some nice little new parts coming here, so I'm quite happy about that. So I'm going to, because there's lots of new growth, and I think it's happy, but being watering day is Wednesday and it's Monday, I can see how much dampness is actually left in this pot, because when I look in here, and that's one good thing about these vases, is I had used these little clay balls. It's the only ones I've been using, these little clay balls. And there's some in the bottom. But it looks still moist to me. But I just want to see how moist, how it's doing, whether I'm leaving the clay balls. And over here, more than 3 days ago, because I planned to do this video sooner, I had started soaking my bark in a teaspoon of Cali Magic and a teaspoon of seaweed extract. So the bark is well soaked. It's been outside on the patio. So I'm going to very carefully take this out. I don't want to disturb it because it does have new growth. And I'm going to use, there's no new growth down in the bottom where this is, and it is damp. It is damp down there. And it does have a bottom drain hole. Oh, it's definitely damp. Does it need water? Maybe being an Oncidium, I might not be watering it as often. But it is definitely moist. So whether I don't think I'm going to put these clay balls back in. Maybe a few, but not all so much. I think I'll go with the cork. Only because of what I'm seeing. This is one reason after you've had your plant in a new pot, no matter what it is in the orchid family, to check and see just how it's doing before you water, so you know if you have to water. Because really, by looking at this, and I'm going to show you a close-up after, before I use this, I should just walk around. This is dark, so that was showing me, looking through the glass, that it was wet, but it feels wet. So let's see how the roots look without dropping everything. Like I said, there is quite a bit of moss in here that I didn't disturb too much, but you know what? I think I should take some out. And it just might be a good idea to take some more out. Carefully. Like I said, they don't like the roots disturbed. But with me watering and doing my orchids, I'm going to be wanting to do this at the same time. If I look at it in the glass vase or even plastic, if you have plastic that you've drilled holes in, you can still see if the bark looks dry or wet, when to water it. Yeah. See, I don't want to pick too hard because I can hear if I do. Probably try and spread it out a little bit. If I do, there's some nice new little roots coming too. But I don't want to break anything more than I have to, that's for sure. Not that I have to. So, I am liking the Oncidiums though, because like the phals have been in flower all winter, and I still have quite a few in flower, and some still coming, but the majority of them through the winter, and they flower for such a long time. But you still enjoy the leaves, and I like the look of these. So there is some new growth, and I'm going to come around and just show you what I mean. And I have sifted out a bit of the moss. If I go and pick it all out, I think I'll do more damage than I care to. So there is some new growth here. But in here, it's so thick in here, as you can see. But I'm thinking because it's near the top of the pot and it's used to it, that I'm going to leave those ones. But it is new shoots coming. So, whoops, I need my spoon. When you use seaweed extract in your bark, you could end up with black fingernails, which I've had. And if you do, then if you just take some lemon juice, or from a real lemon, if you just take some lemon and rub your hands, that helps with that problem. Let's see. I'm going to put most of this at the bottom. Now, I'm going to put the cork in for air. A little bit in the middle now. most of the plants haven't been back for a while, but pretty soon we're going to be doing some more outside stuff. Probably once Easter is past. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more cork in here because these roots are not, they're going to be in the same size except for this fan that the pot was. But if they decide to grow down, other than that, this will just help hold some humidity in the pot. Okay, let's see how we're doing with that. And then I just want to see how I sit it about like that. That should work. So I think I can put some of this in. I guess I'll leave those little clay balls. It's not how I plant my phals, but I think I'm going to have enough bark here. Okay, let's see what we got. Very gently. Okay. I want to get a good grasp. Maybe I got one that wants to fall to the side. Now the growth is coming mostly from this side. So because the growth is mostly on this side, but not all, but most, I'm going to leave the most space there. Boy. Okay, let me have a look. Yes. One there, one there. I can always add a little more bark if I need it on the top. I think I'm just barely going to do it, you know. They like these, and that's why I've been using them lately. The phals sure do. And I'm going to fill in there. Does have a little more growing room, and I'm hoping I didn't bother those babies too much. There. I maybe, let's see, I have some bark, hold on. I have a little bit of bark I had left from one of the other parties, and I think it's going to go in the top here. Yeah, you're going to settle in. Yep, that's looking better. Now there's some cork in here which I don't want, but there is a little bark. Okay. I feel better about the space because I don't want to separate this Oncidium. I want to leave this one to just get as big as it can. I've still got some in here. It's like fishing. There. Yeah. Just always, even with the phals, once I get them in, I kind of hold on to them and pull them up a bit and let some of that bark go in. I'm going to use my hands. And I know there's more there. That's better. It works better than the spoon. I think I'll leave it about like that. And some of these little corks I can just firm up. Oh, there is a drainage hole. Lucky I've got the counter to drain it all. I'll just put a few in there to support it. And they can be picked out when I have a little more bark for the top. Because I do need a teeny bit more. Well, it's a lot firmer. But I will add a little more bark, just have to get some from I keep it out in the gazebo in a big bag, so I think I'll put just a sprinkle on the top while we put it in this water and soak it for a while. But do you ever have that problem? You think you got enough bark, but you don't? I always have that problem. Anyway, what I have done is on the end of this video, we went to visit Mom and I did a short visit with her so you can see how she's doing in her home. And she's very happy. But I have to tell a funny story before I close off for today, because after we took the video, we went back another day and we happened to catch them just at breakfast time. So there's in the house she's in, there's 12 people that are live there, and plus the workers. So at meal times, the house is divided into two sections, and they can wander to the other sections, but there's 2 living rooms and 2 kitchens and 2 kitchen tables, and it's very spacious and open with big windows. So we got there at 9:30, and they really like the kitchen table. It looks outside over an outdoor area that they can use when the weather's better, and there's so many windows around there. They love sitting there and talking to each other. So we got there at 9:30, and the table there was 6 or 7 ladies there, and there was 2 empty chairs. So Jack and we joined them, and they were just finishing their tea, coffee, and Mom likes hot water or warm water. So they were all talking and just finishing that. So we had a nice visit with them and showed them some pictures of Maggie and the chickens, and had a nice little visit. And then Mom says, I don't have my teeth. She said, they're disappeared. And I asked one of the ladies, she said, we hunted all over, they couldn't find her teeth, and so she didn't have them. Well, funny thing is, when she was home, she had her normal teeth, she has real teeth on the bottom, but on the top, she's always had false teeth, and she's hardly ever worn them. Just like her glasses. She has glasses, but she seldom wears them. So anyway, I never thought when I was in, because we go fairly regular, that she never had them, because I was so used to her not having them. And her memory sometimes goes, so she probably forgot to tell us. But now we're sitting there with all these people, and she says, a lady told me that they found them, but they're washing them. So I went up to the kitchen, because one of the guys was cleaning up in there from breakfast. And I said, do you know anything about my mom's teeth? He says, oh yes, I'll get them. I've been cleaning them. So he went and got them and put them in a thing for me to give to Mom. And I went back to the table, and she put them in. But I asked him, I said, did somebody take them or what happened? He said, they plugged her toilet. It took a few days, but how they ended up in the toilet, nobody knows. And so anyway, I guess they had their fun. And I can sympathize because not with teeth, but with something else. We've had that problem here. And Jack's had to always be the one to clean it up. So, it's never dull. It's never dull. But I have to tell you, they are all very nice ladies that are there. There's no men in their area. And they're all so nice and friendly. And one of them has a little, they have these little puppies now. I think you can get bigger ones, but then ones that lay down that are good for people with dementia, because in Mom's thing, most of them do have dementia. And it's a bit of an experiment to see how they do in a normal home setting, and so they can wander around. And I think they're doing very well. There's one of the ladies that works, she wanders around and she will pick things up from other people's places. So, but she is one of the one that's the worst. The rest are all very good and just normal. I need a little drink of water. So at the end of this video, I will join a little video of Mom so you can visit with her for a minute. And thanks for joining me, and I will be back with some spring and Easter video. Bye for now. Hi everybody. I'm sorry, I almost forgot, but then I remembered. Anyway, it's not old age, it's just how I am and always been. So anyway, I told you about your fingers getting dark when you use seaweed extract. Well, let's see if it shows up. Yeah, I washed them, but there's still a little. So what I do is I just poured a little lemon juice in a little container. Where they're dry, that's where, and under your nails, that's where they get, from the darkness of the seaweed extract, that's where they get awful. So that's what I do, and I'm going to leave that there because I promised you, I said, if I don't forget, I'll show you how they look in the pots now. So we're quickly going to do that before I join on Mom's video. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Okay. I don't want to hit anything I shouldn't. Oops. Okay. There we go. Okay. Actually, there's a fair amount of bark. I probably don't have to add any. I got it a little lower. So there's a little baby there, and there's a nice one there that's new, and over here there's one that's new. So this is the side I left the most space for new growth, and this is where there isn't any real new growth, but there is one in here, so I'm hoping I can get it filled up quite nicely. And I like that I can see what's going on. If the bark still looks dark, it's wet. And it probably won't need watered now because it was pretty wet. So, and here's the little one that I've left, and you can see the moss. It's dry. I'm not good with moss, but I didn't want to bother the roots, but it does have a nice new baby there. And that's the only one I see on that. So in this window, here's my slipper orchid, the one that was in bloom. And I don't have slipper orchids before, but I think one dies off. But this one has a new leaf. That one has a new leaf coming. So, and this orchid that had a big spike with a branch, and I cut off this winter, has this new spike coming. Amazing, amazing. And there's lots of new leaves coming. So we'll quickly look at that. I think this one I'll be cutting off very soon, probably just about here. I like to go far enough above the surface and cut it probably below this one. In here somewhere, I'm going to cut it off. So this is a west window, and the Oncidiums can take a west window in the early spring. Not here in the summer, they will be out on the patio. But they do like a little more light than the fells say. They can take a little bit extra light. So anyway, that's good. And then over here, if you remember, I repotted Georgia Pearl. Here's her name. I repotted her when she was in bloom, but they were my orchids, and I didn't change the medium. And she's got 2 new shoots here, one about to open. But she's so beautiful. And up here is one of my oldest orchids. And I would like to repot this, so don't be surprised. What I don't like, I'll tell you when I do it. But it is loaded and it's got more coming. Yeah, it's doing good. And up here we have one with more flowers coming on the end. Okay, now we'll look at this other window. Chairs are still out. We had company yesterday. There we go. So these flowers have gone here, so I'm letting them just grow new leaves. This one has a bunch of new flowers, and they're bending to the light because Carolyn should have turned it more to the light. I see Jack's out there. He wants to go somewhere. And I'm always playing around. And this one's still doing good. There. Yeah, it's still doing good. Okay, and up here we have 2 new shoots coming. I love these little ones too. Okay, now we'll go look in the living room. I'm not rushing. Okay, here we still have this purple one, which has been doing well, and lots of new leaves coming. And this one, I really love this one. The colors, it's yellow. The yellow's not showing up quite as good, but it's very yellow all under. It looks more yellow than in the picture. So, okay, and this is the other Oncidium that I got a month ago. But it does have a new shoot coming too, and it's in a west window also. So anyway, you guys, have a fun day and take care of yourself. Bye for now.
Knit.
Okay.
And that's how much I've been doing.
It's good, it's good. That's going to be a good one, isn't it?
What else is there for me to do? Nothing.
Yeah. You already had your breakfast.
Oh, yes.
And you didn't have eggs.
What did we have for breakfast?
You had 2
then?
muffins and cottage cheese and
Oh, 2 muffins.
a fruit basket or a fruit salad thing.
And then...
What's their lunch?
And lunch, I had lunch.
No,
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
What time is it then? I've been looking and not seeing what...
You're having chicken for lunch.
Oh, it's only 10:15.
You're having chicken for lunch.
I don't know what we're having for lunch.
Chicken
I go-
and rice. And
Oh, I go out there with the rest of them.
Yeah. I seen
I just
Ann.
went out and checked. They're all excited and getting ready already.
Oh,
Yeah, Ann was out there with her little puppy dog.
oh yeah.
She was out there and they were all together, 3 of them walking around.
So,
Push, pull with needle and thread.
I'm just filming you for fun. Because everybody says, how's your mom? And I says, well, film her and then you can see she's doing really good.
I was saying, how How old am I now?
I don't know. How old are you?
101.
One, exactly.